I'm sure you've heard people saying things like, do not judge a book by its cover. Then sometimes you just have to judge a book by its cover. However, when you judge a book by its cover and you find out that your judgment was wrong, or what you thought out the situation to be was not what it ended up being, it means that your judgment was wrong. And if your judgment was wrong, it means that you're passing your judgment not based on what you can observe and see from the situation. However, you're passing your judgment based on a colored lens, based on what you've heard from people, based on other people's opinion and perspective of things. Now, let me explain. You know how you see somebody, right? And you judge them by how they dress. Of course, they tell you you're going to be addressed the way you dressed. You judge them by how they dress. But oftentimes, what you will discover is that the real people that have real money, the millionaires, the billionaires, I'm talking about people like the Elon Musk, I'm talking about people like the Mark Zuckerbergs, I'm talking about people like the Bill Gates. Those guys don't really dress, they don't dress up, right? They don't really dress because more often than not, people that tend to want to dress up tend to let people feel that they have money. Don't really have anything. They don't really have any money. And so, if your judgment of who is wealthy from who is not wealthy is based on the clothes that they wear, it means that you have been brainwashed into thinking that people's clothes is a perfect definition of their wallet, which, as I've said, more often than not, that's not the case. And so, it means your judgment of people based on that premise is going to be wrong almost all the time, right? And so when you want to judge a book by its cover, judge that book by its cover, not by what you think the cover should be like. Okay? So what you want to be asking yourself is that when you see someone or when you see a particular situation and you're about to pass a judgment or you're about to give your own opinion of it, you want to ask yourself a couple of questions. First is this opinion my own? Where have I heard it before? Why am I thinking in this particular direction? And once you can figure it out, then it will also transcend into your decision making process, right? You no longer make decision based on what you've heard from people because because that's what we do when your the lens at which you view the world is colored by people's perspective or people's opinion. Okay, so when next you find yourself in a situation where you have to pass judgments, of course, no one should judge, but we always judge actually. When you find yourself in a situation where you have to pass judgment, you want to be asking yourself these critical questions. You want to be identifying if this judgment is purely your own or is someone else's judgment. Once you can figure that out, you save yourself a lot of stress. One of the stress you save yourself is one, you will no longer pass on people based on what you've heard them or what you expect them to be like. Because having a perception means you're going to prejudge people even before they act. I'm not saying you should not throw first impression off. I'm not saying you should throw first impression off the window. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you want to be careful of the judgment you have. Let it be yours and yours alone, as opposed to just taking people's judgment and making it your own judgment. The second benefit you're going to get from having this critical sort of thinking is it will immediately affect your decision making process because when you're passing out opinion and judgment based on what you've heard on other people's opinion, it means that you find it difficult to make a decision of your own. Even when you make a decision, it's not your decision. It has been influenced by other people or by other perceptions or by other relations. So you want to be making decisions purely by yourself. You want to be taking full responsibility of that. And the only way you can do that is when you identify that this thing I'm doing or this decision I'm making is purely my own and is not being influenced by a third party or by external factors. The third benefit you're going to get from this is you become more truthful with yourself. You become more authentic with yourself. When you talk, you're talking it because you're saying it because it's coming from the heart. That is how you feel. That is how you perceive it, not because it has been influenced by people. And from then on, you begin to live authentically. Your A becomes your A, your B becomes your B, your C becomes your C, and you grow in intelligence because you're not looking at things the way they are, not based on what people have told you about those things.